Hello everyone. Let's continue our analysis of the stator of induction motor. In my last video, we were at this stage where the physical location of the three-phase windings have been shown, and for that physical location of three-phase windings, these are the directions of the magnetic fields FA, FB, and FC. So let me quickly review that. So I'll use this space. So what we had discussed earlier was, like, this is a stator, then the A phase winding is in this direction. That means the conductors are at the top and bottom, and then this is the winding. As a result, the flux due to this A phase winding is in this direction. So FA. Now B phase winding was located 120 degrees from the A phase winding. So if I take this as the axis of this one, from here 120 degrees, that means up to here is 90, and then 120 degrees is like this. So this was my location of the B phase winding. So these are the conductors of B phase winding, and the B phase winding was like this. As a result, the flux due to B phase winding is like this, FB. So remember, flux will be perpendicular to the coil. So the coil is, conductors are located like this, the winding is done like this, and as a result the flux is coming like this. Similarly, the C phase winding is further 120 degrees from the B phase winding. So this is A phase winding, this is B phase winding. So now let's do the C phase winding. So I imagine C phase winding will be coming something like this. Now the flux, the conductors are here, the flux due to C phase winding is like this, FC. So to summarize, we have, this is FA, and this is FB, and this is FC, and this is 120 degrees, this is 120 degrees, and 120 degrees. Now what is shown in this is only the direction of the flux. Now what is the magnitude of the flux depends on the currents flowing in this A phase winding, B phase winding, and C phase winding. So what we do is, we take a three-phase supply, three-phase AC supply of some frequency. Let's assume 50 Hertz frequency. So that particular three-phase supply is connected to the three windings of the stator. So as you know, the three windings of the stator are A, B, C, and the other ends of the A, B, C are star connected, that we have seen in the direction. Now immediately you can imagine IA, IB, and IC. Three currents will be flowing into the machine. So these three currents are three-phase currents, which are themselves separated by 120 degrees electrically. So in this page, I am drawing such a three-phase current. So this is the three-phase currents. Now since current is proportional to flux, the more current will generate more flux. I can also call it as three-phase flux also. So let's denote phi A, phi B, and phi C as the flux. So now let me explain what you are seeing here on the screen. On the x-axis we have time. So for the convenience, I am denoting time in milliseconds. So this is 1 millisecond, 2 millisecond, 3, 4, 5, and so on up to 21 milliseconds. And on the y-axis, I am marking the flux or current. Now take A phase. It is starting at 0 milliseconds, reaching the peak at 3 milliseconds, reaching 0 at 6, minus 1 at, or the negative peak at 9 millisecond, and again 0 at 12 millisecond, and so on. So this is the, I can call it as IA current, or I can call it as a flux phi A. This is a magnitude with respect to time. Okay. So I can say phi A of time is the first one. Now that is this one. Now what is phi B with respect to time? So it will be 120 degrees phase shifted. Now for one cycle you have 360 degrees. I mark the angle also, 0 to 360 degrees. 12 millisecond correspond to 360 degrees in this example. Of course this time to degrees depends on the frequency. here I have chosen that 1 millisecond represents 30 degrees. So 4 milliseconds will represent 120 degrees of phase shift. So after 4 milliseconds, the phase is 120 degrees. There the B flux is starting. So you can again notice starts from 4, reaches maximum at 7, goes to 10, reaches negative maximum at 13, and at 16 milliseconds again 0, and so on. Similarly, phi C. Phi C is yet, it is 240 degrees from 0 or 120 degrees from B. So these are the three phase fluxes. So phi C with respect to time is this dotted line, and this dashed line is phi B. Now let me complete the previous part also. So if it is reaching 0 at 8, it will be maximum peak at 5. So I'll just complete this. Now it will reach 0 at 2 milliseconds, because half time it takes from reaching to maximum to 0 is 3 milliseconds. And from here, if I continue back, I will be getting somewhere at 12 milliseconds. So 14 to 12 is this much. So similarly 2 to 4. So I will get up to this point. Okay, so let me join to that point. Now let me complete this also. Now this B is reaching 0 at 4. So at 1 it should be reaching the maximum. Okay, so now I have the complete three-phase fluxes. Now let's look at I'll choose different times and then we'll see. So I want to choose every 3 milliseconds. So let's take at 3 milliseconds what is the situation. Okay, so at 3 milliseconds, what is IA, IB and IC? So correspondingly, okay, let's write down what is IA. At 3 milliseconds, it is maximum. Let's consider this as 1. Okay, the peak value is 1. So at 3 milliseconds, IA is maximum, whereas IB and IC are negative, and this actually corresponds to minus 0.5. So you can use the calculator to calculate exactly, because we know how many degrees it is. So based on that, you can calculate using formula. So that is 0.5. So because this is all sinusoidal waves, using sine formula we can calculate. So IA is plus 1, this is minus 0.5, and this is minus 0.2. This is the magnitude of IA, IB and IC. So proportionally, I will write phi A is 1, phi B is 0.5 minus, and phi C is also 0.5 minus. So therefore, if I now look at, apply these quantities to this, so I use, this is phi A, this unit is 1. Now, this is a normal direction of phi B, but because the negative sign, I go it in the opposite direction, and then I just go only 0.5 length. Similarly, this is phi B. Similarly, this is phi C. Because this is the natural direction of phi C, now the negative direction I am drawing like this. What is the resultant flux? Phi A plus phi B plus phi C. So to add the vectors, so phi A I take, then phi B I attach it to the end of phi A, and then attached to the end I attach phi C. So this is phi B and phi C. So the resultant is from here to here. So that resultant, let me mark it here. Again, if you use trigonometric functions, you will easily calculate the length is 1.5 and the angle is, let's say, 0 degree. This is flux in the air gap. Okay, so this is what happens at 3 milliseconds. Let's take at 5 milliseconds what happens. Okay, at 5 milliseconds what happens. So now at 5 milliseconds, what is my IA? So now we refer to this. At 5 milliseconds, IA and IB are equal here, plus 0.5 and plus 0.5, whereas IC is minus 1. So let me write that. So this is 0.5 plus 0.5 and this is minus 1.0. So again, if I draw the fluxes, so this is phi A, and I'm just taking only 0.5 length, and then this is phi B, again I'm taking 0.5 length. Now phi C, not natural direction is this one, but then it will be exactly opposite direction because of minus sign, and the unit length is 1. Now if I add these three vectors, phi A plus phi B plus phi C, I'll get the combined flux in the air gap. Again, I'll just do the addition, and then it will be like this. So what you'll notice is it has rotated by angle of 60 degrees, and the length is still 1.5. Again, you can use the trigonometric functions to do that, to calculate this. The length remains same, 1.5 units, whereas the angle is rotated by 60 degrees in 2 milliseconds. Again, at 7 milliseconds, what happens? So I go back and look at 7 milliseconds. At 7 milliseconds, you notice that phi B is maximum, whereas phi A and phi C are minus 0.5. So let me write that. So minus 0.5, this is phi A, phi B is plus 1.0, and phi C is minus 0.5. So check again. So at 7 milliseconds, this is 7 millisecond, the B is maximum, whereas A and C both negative 0.5. Okay. So now again, if I write it in the directions, since it is negative, this is the natural direction of A, but then I'll write this side, phi A 0.5. Now what about phi B? Phi B, this is the regular direction, and this is 1 unit. Phi B equal to 1 unit. Now what about phi C? This is the natural direction of C, but then I have to take the opposite direction because it is negative. So 0.5 phi C. Now if I add these three, phi A, phi B and phi C, I will get again extended by 1.5. Okay, so the total length will be now 1.5. This is the flux in the air gap. What about the angle? So this has further rotated by 60 degrees. So total is 120 degrees. So every 2 milliseconds, you notice that the angle is rotating by 120 degrees. Okay. So what do we take next? Naturally 2 milliseconds we take 9, but let's take something different. Let's take 13 milliseconds. Let's do some prediction. Now how many milliseconds from 7? 7 to 13, it is 6 milliseconds. So in 6 milliseconds, how many degrees would this have rotated? So every 2 milliseconds I am rotating by 60 degrees. So in 6 milliseconds I will rotate by 180 degrees. Isn't it? 2 milliseconds, 60 degrees. So 6 milliseconds will be 3 times more, 180. That means exactly opposite. So whatever angle we are having like this, I will get exactly opposite direction for the, this will be the origin, and this is exactly opposite direction I will get it for the flux area. So let's verify it. So what is phi A, phi B and phi C at 13 milliseconds? So again I go back here and then I go to 13 milliseconds. So here you notice that B, this is phi B, it is 1, whereas A and C both are, so this is minus 1, sorry, and A and C both are plus 0.5. So phi A is plus 0.5, phi B is minus 1, and then phi C is plus 0.5. So let's draw the diagram for this. So this is my direction of A. So because this is plus, I just like this 0.5, and then now this is the regular direction of B, but then I take the opposite direction 1.0 FB, and then this is the regular direction of C, which is still maintains as a regular direction, so 0.5. So now the total flux phi A plus phi B plus phi C, that will be 1.5 times, and you see that exactly whatever we are expecting, the direction is matching. So what you notice is that the air gap flux, so if I draw the machine like this, the air gap flux was like this, after some time it is 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 exactly. So the air gap flux is rotating. Now imagine that there is a giant north pole here and then giant south pole here. Now what is the magnetic field? North pole to south pole. Now as if the north pole is now rotated here and south pole also rotated by 60 degrees, then this will be the magnetic field. Then again north pole is coming here, south pole is coming here. Then again the magnetic field is down to up. So the way the magnetic field is behaving is as if an imaginary north pole and an imaginary south pole are rotating around the stator. There are no imaginary poles. It is all the effect created by the time varying currents in the three phase windings. Okay. Now you might get a doubt why I am taking every 2 milliseconds. What about the in between case? Okay. What if the time is 6 milliseconds? In that case, what is the case? What is the thing? So the direction for 5 millisecond was 60 from this axis. Then the direction is 120 from again the same axis. So in between 6 millisecond, I should be expect a 90 degree case. So let's verify that. Okay. So let's look at 6 millisecond. So what do we have? So the flux of A is 0. So the only thing we have is B is positive and C is negative. And then the magnitude wise, this is 0.5, this is 1. So this should be root 3 by 2 or 0.866. Again, since this is a sinusoidal wave, you can verify it easily. So let me write down now. At 6 millisecond, phi A is 0, phi B is root 3 by 2 plus, and phi C is minus root 3 by 2. So therefore, now if I take the directions, this is FA, this is FB, and this is FC. Now FA is 0, so I don't worry about this. This length is root 3 by 2. Now FC is negative, so I take the opposite direction, and then again root 3 by 2, and then if I take the vertical line, so this will be actually 3 by 2. So root 3 by 2, root 3 by 2 will become 3 by 2, that is 1.5. And the angle is exactly 90 degrees as we have predicted at 6 milliseconds. So every millisecond, the magnetic field is rotating by 30 degrees. So we are getting a rotating magnetic field. So to summarize, what we can do. So stator, this is number 1, stator has 3-phase winding. Wound in a special way. So wound for particular number of poles. So how the winding is done, we already have one video about it. You can see it. The second point is stator is fed from a 3-phase source. So 3-phase currents flow in the winding. So in the condition, in the first one, windings are 120 degrees apart spatially. That means according to space. In the second one, phases of current are 120 degrees apart. This is with respect to time. The combined effect of 3-phase windings fed from 3-phase sources, what is the resultant coming out of it is rotating magnetic field. So which is nothing but you have a stator and then it has a 3-phase winding. Okay, so 3-phase winding is there in the stator with 3-phase winding. So you have A, B, C, 3 terminals. This is the air gap. Now, as if there is a big south pole here and big north pole here, and this is rotating and this is rotating. the magnetic field continuously rotates in the air gap. So we are achieving a rotating magnetic field in the air gap because of this particular setup. So that is what is the complete understanding of what is the stator doing. So what is the stator in induction machine doing is, a stator contains three-phase windings and stator is fed from a three-phase source. Therefore, a rotating magnetic field is set up. So this is about the stator. We'll continue more in the other videos.